wormhole brain, or WHB. Though all are similar, no two are alike. Some are larger or smaller than others, able to transfer more or less. The way in which the information is ultimately processed includes the filters of your physical brain, or lack thereof, as in single-celled organisms. Though the wormhole brain of you, an eagle, a bear, shark are equally impressive, the physical brain determines how that initial flow of cosmic information should be used, what is relevant to that particular creature's survival at a particular time, etc. So, I think we're saying the same thing. Microtubules. I bet it all boils down to one microtube, though. What do you think? Oh well, clock has got us. So let's end the show as I often do. Let us all use our collective consciousness and let's try to manifest the best next week ever for all of us. Part of this family, okay? If you can, close your eyes, but certainly take some deep breaths. Let us meditate together on this 20-second tone. It's a meditation tone that I created, and it's called the Good Fortune Tone. That's it for this edition of the show. Follow me at Joshua P. Warren. Plus, visit joshuapwarren.com to sign up for my free e-newsletter to receive a free instant gift and check out the cool stuff in the Curiosity Shop, all at joshuapwarren.com. I have a fun one lined up for you next time, I promise. So please tell all your friends to subscribe to this show and to always remember the golden rule. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your interest and support. Thank you for staying curious. And I will talk to you again soon. You've been listening to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network.
Well, if you like this episode of Strange Things, wait till you hear the next one. Thank you for listening to the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network.
Some of our best memories begin on public lands. They're where we hunt, fish, camp, hike, and explore. They're where we reconnect with nature, with family, and with the freedom to find our own adventure. For more than 90 years, the Wilderness Society has helped protect the public lands that make those moments possible. Because protecting public lands isn't just about preserving wild places, it's about protecting the freedom to experience them. Learn how you can help protect the places that bring us together at wilderness.org. That's wilderness.org. Public lands. Hand them down, not over.
Si este mes llega con prisa, are you ready? Ready, no so ready. Idiota que antes
Most of us, fatigue and joint pain are easy to dismiss, but for Candace, those symptoms were the beginning of a years-long search for answers.
The real issue became my GI symptoms, so I finally went to the doctor.
And then came a word Candace had never seen before. Indolent systemic mastocytosis is a rare immune disorder. It can look like dozens of other conditions, which is part of why it often goes undiagnosed. But for every Candace who finds a root, how many are still out there? The answers this week on an all-new episode of WebMD's listen wherever you get your podcasts.
I love the little everyday moments with my dog, especially treat time. But dental care, not always so fun. Until we found Greenies Dental Treats. These are more than just tasty. They're vet recommended and designed to support the 4 areas pets check the most: plaque, tartar, gums, and breath. Their unique texture cleans down to the gum line and supports cleaner teeth after 28 days when fed daily. It's a simple daily habit that supports their health and gives us another moment to enjoy together. Greenies make health a treat. Shop now at greenies.com.
Are you looking for support in your weight management journey? Zepbound tirzepatide may be able to help. Zepbound is a prescription medicine used with a reduced calorie diet and increased physical activity to help adults with obesity or some adults with overweight who also have weight medical problems to lose excess body weight and keep the weight off. Zepbound is approved as a 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12, 15 milligram injection. Zepbound contains tirzepatide and should not be used with other tirzepatide-containing products or any GLP-1 receptor agonist medicines. It is not known if Zepbound is safe and effective for use in children. Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take if allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary cancer, or if you have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or a serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you experience vision changes before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. If you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Taking Zepbound with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems. Talk to your doctor. Call 1-800-545-5979 or visit zepbound.lilly.com.
Hello.
What kind of thing? You put it over your mouth and your... So I got one of these. Actually, I bought 3 of them, and I said to my wife, I said, I'm just gonna breathe this all day long as often as I can. And let me tell you, after that, I sang the hell out of a Sinatra song. And if you follow me on social media, I might release that at some point. I don't have the rights to the song though, so I have that. But makes you wonder. I actually I was in Puerto Rico one time, and in Puerto Rico, you know, they sell rum like crazy. It's the rum capital, so everybody gets drunk all the time. And so I was in a restaurant, and the waiter there said that he was a retired fighter pilot. And he said that he and his buddies would go out and they would get hammered, and then the next morning they were all hung over, but they would go straight to the oxygen room and they would just breathe the hell out of the oxygen, and it would just sober them right up, and then they would get back in their fighter jets. Okay, we're up on a break. When we come back, some mental mana. I just bought something new that I think is amazing. It has to do with Nikola Tesla. And then I think maybe it's time for me to dig into some listener emails and see what's on your mind. I'm Joshua P. Warren. You're listening to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Paranormal Podcast Network, and I will be right back.
Working force professionals in the U.S. plant more than they harvest, while all for water, wildlife, and more. It's how we grow a sustainable future. Learn more at workingforestsinitiative.com.
This is Charity Lawson from Bachelor Happy Hour.
Charity, I was thinking about this the other day. What's something that you'll always say yes to?
That's easy. Seeing my friends, a last-minute girls trip, basically making memories you'll talk about for years. Cash.
30 to 40 cents up to $1.99. And the population of the world today is 8.29. So if my math is correct here, the population has doubled, and yet a hamburger has gone up 400%. That's about 8% per year. That's what's called inflation, my friends. I mean, it's it's a ridiculous artificial number. If you just buy stuff and sit on it, gold, silver, stocks, if you just buy something and sit on it, it will probably become more valuable over time just because of inflation. By the way, if you don't know this, I have a YouTube channel. I don't post on it very often, but I have over 10,000 people who subscribe, and it's not monetized, so you shouldn't have to watch commercials or anything. And I recently did an updated video where I go through my curiosity shop, my online curiosity shop at joshuapwarren.com, and I show you like the latest stuff that I have there. By the time you hear this, I'm sure a lot of it will be sold out. But, I was talking about, I sell stuff that has gold and silver occasionally. And it's when you buy gold and silver, it's almost like you're not buying anything because you could turn around and sell it at any moment and get probably way more than you paid for it, but at least as much as you paid for it. But anyway, I was also talking, of course, about how long you can hold your breath. Here's the fastest that humans have gone. This ties right back in to everything that I was saying. Fastest a human has ever traveled is 24,816 miles per hour. That's 39,937 kilometers per hour, achieved by the crew of Apollo 10 during their return to Earth on May 26th of 1969. This remains the record for the highest speed reached by humans in a spacecraft. That's something. I mean, like, with all of our technology, isn't it weird that we have not broken that record since 1969? There's just, I don't know, there's something fishy about all of this. That, we haven't been back to the moon and all that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking we have. But hey, don't listen to me. I'm just a wizard of weird. Nikola Tesla, he's always been one of my favorites. And when I was a kid, I built a Tesla coil, and I had a page pulled up. Okay, there it is. I don't have too much going on. I used to really just be absolutely fascinated with all of Tesla's work. And Tesla, he did this demonstration in 1893. He went to the World's Columbian Exposition, and which I guess was in Chicago, and he was demonstrating his work, his progress with AC, alternating current. And this is a podcast, so I'm not going to get all into technical language and stuff. But basically, he blew everybody's mind because he had like this little plate, and he had a metal egg, and he put the egg on the plate, and he turned on the AC current, and the egg started spinning and spinning and spinning, and the next thing you know, the egg stood upright and was perfectly controlled within this field, and it just blew everybody's minds. Tesla's egg of Columbus. And I have read about that since I was in middle school. And guess what? The other day, I got online and I found that there's a company that makes this as a demonstration. And I was like, take my wallet, I'll pay whatever. So I bought it. And sure enough, man, it works. I can't imagine it would have been like in 1893 to see this metal egg I stand up and start spinning like that. Someday, I might sell a ticket to my house and you can come in and spend an evening with me, and I'll show you all of my crazy stuff, but not right now. Oh, you know what? Let's go to some emails. I read emails, from time to time, and I'm always reading the good ones, but I don't want you to get the impression that I'm just only reading good stuff. So I'm going to read. Here's a negative one. All right, this is actually sad. So I sent out an e-newsletter telling everybody about one of my recent shows. Hey, it's the show's post, and this lady, she wrote me back and she said, "My husband is dead," and there's an exclamation point there. And she said, "Please stop cluttering this inbox with your relentless emails. Signed, his widow." Well, first off, I'm very, very sorry to hear that. It kind of broke my heart to get that. But I also, I sympathize with the hurt that she's going through. But I do want to point out that when you sign up for my e-newsletter, I write every single one myself, and I send it out myself, and it's a manual thing. And I have this show called Strange Things. It usually comes out once a week. So I usually send one email per week telling you what the show is about. Occasionally, I'll send a second one if I have something else special going on or something that I can't talk about on the show or whatever. I'm very sorry again for your loss, man, if you were listening to me. But I do want to point out that I didn't know, your husband, he signed up for this, but he's now removed from the list. Okay, here's an email I got. This guy, he went to the Curiosity Shop and he got the Stealth handheld Tepaphone. And he said, "Here are some things I've been doing with this thing." He said, "Some cats were usually fighting in the garden of the building I live in, day and night, making a lot of noise. I used the handheld Tepaphone and said they will stop fighting and be calm, and they did immediately. It's been a week now and they're still calm. Number 2, I used it for my mother, who is 84 years old, and she said she will have perfect health and live many years. And the doctor said today that she does have great health and will indeed live many years." He also says, "I used it for my neighbor attacking me, blaming my apartment again for her own house humidity and moisture. It's not my fault. I have done the appropriate renovations already. I said she will stop blaming me, and she immediately stopped the attack and understood it's not my fault. Shop, all at JoshuaPWarren.com. I have a fun one lined up for you next time, I promise. So please tell all your friends to subscribe to this show and to always remember the golden rule. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your interest and support. God will talk to you again soon. Listen to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast Coast to Coast AM Paranormal and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network.
Multiple lending partners so that financing is tailored to you. So if you need retirement but can't afford to wait, get it to your local home in no time. The team you trust. Team you trust.
Granger knows when you're a procurement manager for an office park, you're not managing one bill behind. Count on Granger for quality products, easy reordering, 24/7 support. Granger, click Granger.com. Stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Working forest professionals in the U.S. plant more than they harvest, while also caring for water, wildlife, and more. It's how we grow a sustainable future. Learn more at workingforesinitiative.com.
Skincare means Sephora, makeup, same. They've got the products, expertise, and the brands that fit your lifestyle. But when I talk about hair care, do you make the same connection? Well, you should. Sephora is just as trusted for hair, whether you're looking to repair, strengthen, hydrate, or add shine. Whether you're looking to repair, strengthen, hydrate, or add shine. You'll find brands like Kerastase, K18, and Easy. Plus, the guidance to help shipping.
True crime cast Betrayal. He was a tall, handsome police officer, man of her dreams. Caroline knew right away he was the man she would spend her life with. But then she got a text that changed everything. The man she loved was a severe addict. Affair after affair with so many different women in his cop car while on duty. I implore you to watch Betrayal: Dirty Secrets, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
That can live on insane amounts of time and affect the world in profound ways. At say, the old composers like Beethoven or Mozart, they would be totally forgotten if they were great composers. And yet, today, we listen to their music all the time. And I believe it was Beethoven said the point of music is to put a listener into the mind of the composer. And do you see what I mean? It almost seems like that whatever your form of art is, if you're a successful artist, that maybe that is a way in which apotheosis can actually exist.
What in the hell are you
It's
doing?
some form of immortality. And I mean, think about things that have influenced most of you listening to this show right now. Like, for example, the stories and the rhymes from Mother Goose.
Not supposed to be on this lane truck.
Now, that just about everybody has heard at least one story from these old collected stories Mother Goose tells and Brothers Grimm. What do you think came first? Who was first? Mother Goose or Brothers Grimm? I bet most people have no idea. Well, it was by far Mother Goose. Mother Goose is she's a fictional character. She's a mythical, archetypal figure behind traditional English nursery rhymes and fairy tales, often depicted as an elderly woman or some kind of bird, like an anthropomorphized bird. And she originated as a folk tale figure. But the first one to really write down the Mother Goose tales was a French author named Charles Perrault. And he published the Mother Goose tales. Let's see, they believe those tales go back to, oh my gosh, it's something something crazy. The 1600s. Let's see. What year was Mother Goose published? I know I looked this up, but I have too many facts in front of me. So it was first published in 1697 by this French author. And I believe he didn't even start writing this kind of stuff until he was in his 60s. Interesting story behind that guy, but I don't have time to tell everybody's story. You know, to me, in a podcast, one of the cool things is I can just sort of like plant ideas in your head. And if you find something that's interesting to you, well, now you can just jump on the internet and do your own research. Brothers Grimm did not start publishing until the 1800s. And you see, Mother Goose was, again, a fictional character. And so Mother Goose, she was telling stories all the time to kids and nursery rhymes. And so the Brothers Grimm, they came along and they started publishing these Grimm's Tales. I think they published their first tales. And, oh gosh. Again, let's see. When were the first Brothers Grimm Tales published? So, much as love being able to look up random stuff like that. Oh my goodness, it says 1812. So it was a long time afterward. And, you know, the Brothers Grimm, they're fascinating guys. Jacob and Wilhelm, they were German academics, cultural researchers. And when they started publishing their tales in 1812, they were just trying to preserve a lot of German oral traditions, though many tales were of broader European origin. And what I didn't realize also when I started looking into this is that a lot of the stories that were Mother Goose tales were actually used pretty directly by Brothers Grimm, but the Brothers version of it. So, like, for example, in the classic fairy tales, the Mother Goose stories, we have story of Cinderella, we have Sleeping Beauty in the Wood, we have Little Red Riding Hood, we have Puss in Boots, and the Brothers Grimm also wrote their own versions of these types of stories as well. They did their versions of those same things, of Cinderella, of Little Red Riding Hood. But, you know, again, there are differences. Like in one version, the story ends with the wolf eating the girl. In another version, the huntsman saves everybody. And so you just don't know exactly how it's going to end. But what you find is that, you know, the Brothers Grimm, they had more of a tendency to retell those Mother Goose stories with, you know, a darker spin. I mean, some of the stories that are unique to the Brothers Grimm were Rumpelstiltskin. That's a creepy one. The Musicians of Bremen, the Frog King. But the Brothers Grimm, they didn't really do nursery rhymes at all. And, you know, here's one of my favorite Mother Goose nursery rhymes.
Get off your phone.
Let me see. I'll give you some examples of Mother Goose nursery rhymes, because I doubt you've ever heard this one, and for some reason, I remember it. So, some of her famous rhymes, let's see. Humpty Dumpty, Hey Diddle Diddle, the Cat and the Fiddle, Hickory Dickory Dock, Baa Black Sheep, Jack and Jill went up the hill, Little Bo Peep, Mary Mary quite contrary, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But have you heard this one? It's called Robin the Bobbin, the Big Belly Bin. Robin the Bobbin, the Big Belly Bin. He ate more meat than 80 men. He ate a cow, he ate a calf. He ate a butcher and a half. He ate a church, he ate a steeple. He ate the priest and all the people. A cow and a calf, an ox and a half, a church and a steeple, and all the good people. And yet he complained that his stomach was not full. It says 80 there. You know what that means? You know, Abraham Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address, he said 7 years ago. 80 is 80 years. So 7 years would be 87 years ago. Well, look, these are things that I believe have become an immortal subject matter, at least in terms of human experience. Before we go to this break, though, I want to ask you, going back to the Greek stuff, if you can come up with the answer to this famous riddle. It's called the riddle of the Sphinx. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? This is a famous one. The riddle of the Sphinx. Think about it. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? And Greek mythology, if you did not get that right, you are in big, big trouble. I'll explain that, and I may even get into things that suck. I'm Joshua P. Warren. You're listening to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network, and I'll be back after these important messages.
Keeping a working forest growing takes a massive commitment. That's why working forest professionals plant over 1 billion seedlings annually in the U.S., ensuring more trees are planted than harvested. But it takes more than planting to sustain these ecosystems. It means caring for everything in the forest, from clean water to thriving wildlife. Because when we take care of our forests, they'll thrive for generations. Learn more at workingforestinitiative.com.
Your social media feed delivers the
in a monster that had a woman's head, a lion, and eagle's wings, guarded the entrance to again. She killed herself by throwing herself from a cliff or into the sea. As a reward for freeing the city, Oedipus was made king of Thebes. Well, I won't tell you the rest of that story because this is a friendly show. Oedipus goes on to do some things that are highly frowned upon. Here's the answer to the riddle, though. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? The answer is man. It could just be a human being, but basically man, because it represents the 3 stages of a person's life. Morning, which is infancy, when a baby crawls on all 4s. An adult walks upright on 2 legs. And then evening, old age, when an elderly person uses a cane or a walking stick, which acts as a 3rd leg. So anyway, now you can ask your friends if they can remember the Sphinx. That one. All right, what do you say we try a new segment called Things That Suck? I don't know if you're going to like this or not, but let me just, I am not, again, I try to keep this show positive. And I am, I'm not just trying to be a grumpy old man. A lot of people listen to this show, and I'm very fortunate. And so sometimes I figure maybe it's okay for me to give my opinion on some things that I believe should change. Because there are a lot of young people who listen to this show, and they don't think about things the same way that some of us folks do who are a little bit older. Maybe they need some advice. So I'm trying to make the world a slightly better place by just airing some complaints. And I promise I'll only do this once in a while. So we'll see how you like this. Okay, on my list of things that suck. Onions on salads. Now I actually like onions, but they don't belong on a salad in my opinion. I'm sick of people putting onions on a salad. A lot of people don't even know how to make a good salad anymore. In my opinion, I don't know, if I make a salad at a salad bar, they're hard to find. You got your lettuce, you got your cheese, you got your cucumbers, you got your bacon bits, you got some eggs in there. I'm talking like a nice chef salad. Some people, sometimes you order a salad, they bring you like a wedge of lettuce and with a cherry tomato or something. It's like, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, like a good chef salad, hard to find. But they ruin it when they put the onions in it. So, in my opinion, and maybe it's just because, I'm an old redneck from Western North Carolina, I just think that people need to stop putting onions on salads because I don't remember that being the case when I was growing up. You know what? I'll just throw this in here when it comes to culinary stuff as well. I've been talking a lot about food lately. Robin the Bob and the Big Bellied Ben. I guess it's because, like I say, I'm always trying to eat healthier and lose weight and all that. I was watching 60 Minutes one time, and they interviewed a guy in Italy who is supposed to be, like, they say, won more awards than anybody, and he's like the top chef in the world. And so the reporter, I think it was Leslie Stahl, asked him, well, what's an example of the best thing to eat? Like the most delicious thing? And he goes, oh, that's easy. Let me share with you the tastiest thing in the world. So he goes and he gets one of these little cherry tomatoes. And I for some reason, I want to say it was green. I'm not 100% sure. But I think he sliced it in half. It's been a while since I've seen this. and then he takes some fine Italian balsamic vinegar and he drizzles that over it. And he says, now taste that. And she tastes it. He's just sitting there with bated breath, and he's like, yeah, all right. And she's like, oh yeah, that's really good. And so he was using some balsamic vinegar that was very expensive. It looks like this bottle cost $200 or something. And I was like, fine, I got to try this. I'm a sucker for a lot of stuff, I guess. So I buy this expensive balsamic vinegar, and I pour it on like one of the tomatoes, and I eat it. And let me tell you, it is pretty dadgum good. But I've done it since then with like the regular stuff you can buy at the grocery store. You don't have to spend a fortune. But I thought that was interesting. I would share that tidbit with you. Also, I got to meet one of the top chefs here in Las Vegas a few years ago. I was actually invited to be a guest on one of these like YouTube channels that's food and travel. So here I was sitting in this fancy restaurant at this 5-star hotel, or a highfalutin hotel. I mean, it's big enough for that's where Lady Gaga hangs out and performs and everything. And actually, I guess it was, I'll just say it, I guess it was Park MGM or something. So anyway, we got to sit down on camera, and this chef was giving me his finest dishes, and everything was exquisite. It was all fantastic. But so at some point I chimed in here and I said to the chef, so let me ask you this. If you were stranded on a desert island and you could only have a few items to season your food to perfection, like what would it be? What would be the secret ingredients? And he just looks at me for a second and he said, well, just salt and pepper. And I have a cabinet with about 50 seasonings in it. And I don't know, I love seasonings and sauces, and I can dress up anything with seasonings and sauces. But I guess he's right. I mean, if you're on a desert island and you can just have two things, good old fashioned salt and pepper. Second thing that sucks is pop-ups on websites. If you put a pop-up on your website, I may never visit your site again. Okay, pop-ups should be a thing of the past. So I don't care if I go to a website and I'm about to check out your subject matter and boom, there's a pop-up. Please subscribe to it. I'm immediately angry. So no pop-ups of any kind. The last thing that I'll include here is long YouTube videos. I know if you're a YouTuber, that's the thing to do because you get paid to make a long video because you get paid more the longer people watch it. So I get it, but it sucks, in my opinion, most of the time. Not all the time. Maybe I'm just too busy of a guy, but I prefer to go to watch a video. If I just need some basic information, I prefer to watch a video that's no more than a few minutes long. I'm much more attracted to that. Now, trust me, I'm a guy who has put out some pretty long videos, so it's almost like do as I say, not as I do. But I just think it depends on the context. But most of the time, if you're just sitting around there looking at YouTube content, please keep it at 10 minutes if you can. No more than 10, but 3 to 5 is golden. So that's it. That's all I have to gripe about for now. You let me know if you'd like. Actually, I tell you what. When it comes to experiences that I've had here in Vegas, I don't think that I've brought this up on the show before, but I just think it's kind of a funny story. And when we come back from this break, I'll tell it to you. I was standing in line at a drugstore here not too long ago, and something happened that kind of ticked everybody off, but it has sort of an unexpected ending. I guess, I don't know. Mental manna, all right? Also, I believe that I may have time to get into some listener emails. We'll see what some of your latest thoughts are. And I don't know if you're old enough. Do you remember these movies that used to star this famous dog called Rin Tin Tin? Kind of like, he wasn't, I guess, as famous as Lassie necessarily, at least in terms of today's pop culture. But Rin Tin Tin was a very famous dog movie star. And just recently, Lauren, she goes, listen to this. I looked up why he was called Rin Tin Tin, and it actually has kind of